Breaking tonight, Iran launches more than a dozen missiles at bases in Iraq housing U.S. troops. What we're learning about the attack.
I think that they should be ready for retaliation.
And Southeast Texas veterans tonight talking with KFDM about the missile attack and how they believe the U.S. should respond.
You're watching KFDM News tonight at 10.
We have breaking news tonight at 10. Information just now coming in about the Iranian missile attack targeting U.S. troops at a base in Iraq. Here's what we know right now. Multiple reports indicate Iran launched 15 ballistic missiles at two bases in Iraq housing U.S. troops. This in retaliation for the U.S. killing of a top Iranian general. Now, according to those reports, 11 missiles landed, 4 missed, but no word on damage or injuries or casualties. A short while ago, President Trump tweeted, "All is well, and so far, so good." The president says he'll speak to the nation tomorrow morning. Sinclair correspondent James Rosen with our Washington bureau is gathering reaction and the latest video of the missile attacks.
Footage broadcast by an Iraqi news agency purportedly captured what the Pentagon said were more than a dozen ballistic missiles fired from inside Iran at a pair of military bases in Iraq that house U.S. and coalition forces. The Al-Assad air base in western Iraq, where these images were purportedly taken, the other in Erbil to the north. The Pentagon said the attack started at 5:30 Eastern Time Tuesday night. Published reports indicated no U.S. casualties, but some unknown number of them to our Iraqi coalition partners. These bases have been on high alert due to indications that the Iranian regime planned to attack our forces and interests in the region, said a Pentagon spokesman, adding, "As we evaluate the situation and our response, we will take all necessary measures to protect and defend U.S. personnel, partners, and allies in the region."
We came to Al-Assad.
It was just over a year ago that President Trump visited Al-Assad, a critical military installation for the U.S. since the earliest days of the Iraq War. Late Tuesday, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and then Defense Secretary Mark Esper could be seen arriving at the White House to consult with the commander-in-chief. A statement from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps called the missile attack Martyr Soleimani and indicated more attacks are planned. Among the lawmakers briefed by the White House tonight is Senator Marco Rubio, the Florida Republican, who on Twitter called this a direct attack on U.S. forces by a nation state, and who also warned of a disinformation warfare campaign occurring on social media, apparently aimed at sowing division here over what the U.S. should do next in the Middle East. On Capitol Hill, James Rosen.
Also unfolding tonight, reaction pouring in from Capitol Hill. CBS's Natalie Brand reports there are some tough words coming from lawmakers.
Iran claimed responsibility for an attack on U.S. targets in Iraq after threatening retaliation for the killing of its top general last week. Tuesday night, Iranian state television aired this video of what it said were missiles being fired.
It's a show of use of force that we will go toe-to-toe, tit for tat with you.
The Pentagon confirms more than a dozen ballistic missiles were launched from inside Iran against U.S. and coalition forces in Iraq. One target was in Erbil in northern Iraq.
We heard 2 large explosions here. Shortly after those explosions, we also saw helicopters in the air too, buzzing Erbil.
The other target was the Al-Assad air base, about 100 miles northwest of Baghdad. It's home to U.S. service personnel. President Trump made a surprise visit to the base in December of 2018, and Vice President Mike Pence made an appearance there this past November. Prior to the attack, President Trump repeated a dire warning to the regime.
If Iran does anything that they shouldn't be doing, they're going to be suffering the consequences, and very strongly.
The vice president called top congressional leaders to inform them of the attacks. They had just been briefed in person about the intelligence leading up to the killing of Iran's top general. Lawmakers reacting to the attacks have questions.
Right now, we're in a defensive posture. What we don't know if this is the first of more than one wave.
I am questioning whether or not the Trump administration has a coherent strategy for what to do next.
Late Tuesday, President Trump was meeting with his top advisors at the White House. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Pentagon is working on initial damage assessments, but there are no reports of casualties at this time. Also tonight, veterans in Beaumont reacting to the missile attack. 7 members of the Vietnam Veterans of America were meeting this evening at their headquarters on McFadden in Beaumont. They were meeting to discuss a planned memorial to Vietnam veterans when they learned of the attack. The president of the organization spoke with KFDM about what it's like when a loved one is serving the nation and comes under a missile attack.
Uncertainty and escalation. I don't think anyone wants to see this break into a full-scale war, but by the same token, there's a sickness over there that needs to be treated, needs to be eradicated. And if doing it at 1 or 2 leaders at a time is the way to do it, then that's fine. But again, we look to our leadership.
We knew it was coming, and it was just a matter of time. And we just hope that things don't get too much out of hand, that it's going to create another war.
I felt a lump in my stomach. You don't know where they were going. You don't know what kind of damage they would do, what kinds of injuries or deaths would be sustained. And I'm a parent of one of the Afghan-Iraqi war veterans myself. I know my son has gone through being shelled and having rocket attacks, and in one sense, being here on the other side of the world may insulate us. But in another sense, when it's your own son or daughter that's in harm's way, you can't help but feel concerned.
Stay with KFDM on air and online for continuing coverage of the missile attacks and the U.S. response. Go to KFDM.com and to our Facebook page for updates and to comment on those stories you've seen.